So we are camping this weekend out at Muskegon Lakeshore somewhere or something. And I just want to briefly review what it's like towing with the Rivian, this trailer right here. So first of all, what we're towing, this is the Sportsman Classic KZ. This model, it has a weight of about 4,500 pounds, which is towable for a lot of mid-sized SUVs, including the Tesla Model X, which we've towed this before, and it's a really great trailer. But the new thing this year has been towing it with the Rivian R1t. Now my R1t is the launch edition, very capable truck. This is rated at 11,000 pounds towing capacity. Again, this trailer is 4,500, so I could tow something twice as heavy. Now, I've towed this with the Model X before, and a couple of things that are great with vehicles that have adjustable air suspension, which both the R1T and the Model X have. That makes it really easy. Like when I got here, I put the suspension down low, and that basically dropped the ball out, and I could drive off it. Things like that really make it really nice. Another thing that the Tesla and this vehicle have, and probably a lot of SUVs nowadays have, are backup cameras, so you can see the back of your vehicle, you can also see your hitch, and you can see the ball receiver. So it makes it way easier to back up and make sure that your ball hitch basically just lands exactly where it's supposed to be, right underneath the hitch receiver, and you're good to go, and then you can just drop the hitch right on it. Now, again, the Rivian R1t is rated for 11,000 pounds. The Model X, I believe, is rated for about, now I can't remember if it's 5,000 or 7,000 pounds. It is significantly less than the R1t. I think it's 5,000 pounds. The Rivian R1S is actually rated less than the R1t. It's rated at, I think, 7,500 pounds. But anyway, the R1t is just rated really high for towing capacity, and that really helps. So one thing that I did notice is that when I dropped the weight from this trailer onto the hitch, the Model X, it could handle it, but it definitely would sag a little bit. The change would be close to the ground, and I really needed to put the vehicle in a higher suspension, like high or very high, which of course turns off on the Model X when you're at freeway speed. So you go back to standard or low, I forget. I think you can keep it at standard. But anyway, that's just a lot less noticeable on the R1T with the suspension. I don't know much about that side of things, so I can't comment on like what it is exactly that's beefier on these vehicles, but just suffices to say that for a non-car guy, I can tell that it just feels like this truck is definitely built to handle a lot more weight. And just a quick aside here, I just want to mention where the hitch is. It is extremely well integrated here and super easy to access. I really like the way they did this. The bumper is very smooth, contour back here, and there's a plate that continues this trim piece all the way across and just dips down like that. There are two screws that hold that plate in, little plastic like screws or clips or whatever back here, and then the other side of the plate kind of connects here. You take that off and voila, you've got access to this. I forget what that's for. Maybe you can add other trailer items. The chain connects or safety connects, really easy to access, really easy to hook those little things on. The hitch pin, the hitch receiver is kind of thick, so I actually had to get a slightly longer hitch pin, but this is I can't remember what size this is, maybe it's 5 inches long or something, but it exactly fits. And then you got your electrical right here, electrical hookup. There, you can't see it too well, but you can imagine if I could get my fingers out of the way. Oh, I should compare that to the Model X. The Model X also has a cover back here. It's a little, it's more underneath. It's underneath the bump. It doesn't take off part of the bumper, as I recall. And it's a little bit harder to get to. And also these connectors, which, just so you know what I'm talking about, this is where these go on. Basically, this is a safety chain. So if something happens to your ball and chain for some reason that comes off, these chains will keep it connected to your vehicle so it doesn't plow into other vehicles. But anyway, on the Model X, it's actually, these are really crammed in there, and they do fit, but it's hard to get to them. These are so open and so nice, it's just really easy to access, so I really love that. One tip for Rivian, though, designers, is this is the cargo cam, which overlooks the bed and would have a direct view of the trailer. I really would love to stream that camera from inside the vehicle. You can stream this backward camera, you can see the side cameras in bird's eye view or rear facing like fender cams, and you can also stream the front camera. You cannot stream this one. The only thing that this does is like security features, but I would love to be able to stream that even when backing out, because when you're backing up, this one is completely blocked by the trailer. At least this one would have a little bit more surrounding context. That would be awesome. So please, Rivian, make this camera streamable from inside the cabin. All right, so the big thing here is, well, I just mentioned tow mode. All right, let's talk about tow mode. So this one is usually grayed out when you don't have a trailer, but once it detects a trailer, this shows up. And if it detects a trailer, but there's no electrical hookup, it doesn't detect electrical hookup, it will give you a warning and say, hey, the trailer electrical is not hooked up. Basically, like, is this a problem, or does the trailer have no hookup? So there's that. And then, okay, so when we turn it on, these are all available. So trailer brake gain, I guess that's like the ratio of like trailer braking to truck braking. I didn't adjust that at all, but you can go up to 10, down to off. So the one thing that I would like to know is whether this applies to regen. So I don't want any trailer braking going on when when I'm using a regen. I only want the trailer brake to go on when I'm actually braking. So it doesn't look like trailer brake is used during regen. I'm going to regen now, and it's not saying I'm using any trailer brake. Let me try using my brake. Got the brake on now. Yeah, so it seems to show the icon when trailer brake is actually being used. So ride. Okay, so you can actually do it to soft, but I'm not sure why you would want. Well, I guess you can still have the suspension high and the ride soft, but anyway, it defaults to stiff, brake regen high, which you probably really want because it really helps. Stability on. It looks like you cannot turn that off, so that's kind of interesting. So anyway, that is tow mode. A couple of things on the dash here. Nice little retro trailer icon here, trailer brake. I have my foot on the brake pedal when I let go. It changes to that. So one interesting tidbit here is that this little icon here, that little round thing, that is the scroll wheel here. You can see the pattern. So what that's indicating is that if you push the right scroll wheel, I think it's the right one, this will activate the trailer brake, but not the truck brakes. I'm not sure when you would need to do that. Maybe it has something to do with like when you're fishtailing or something, or when there's trailer swerve. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's how that is activated. And then the other thing that's interesting is, so I think this is indicating that like cruise control and like basically automatic forward adjustment stuff is inactivated when you have a trailer. When in gear, so all the ultrasonics and maybe the radar sensors on the side are turned off. You can still use cameras, so like camera-based visualizations, but it turns off anything that might, pick up the trailer and give a false warning. I am charging on the 30 amp 110 volt, standard camping hookup. If you're at an RV area, you might get lucky and get like 40 amp or 50 amp 220 hookups. This is fine for now. We didn't have to go very far. I'll cover some range and stuff. I usually turn the amps down. I don't want to be going at full 30 and start shorting stuff out, so I don't do that. So range is a big thing. So you do lose a ton of range when you're doing this. If you are towing a trailer of this size, I would use calculations of 1 mile per kilowatt hour, or that would be 1,000 watt hours per mile. That's a lot. It's probably more like 700 or 800 watt hours per mile. Maybe, I don't know. I think at yeah, that's probably 800. I would say at freeway speeds. We had some traffic, and so the last 15 minutes of our drive was not only in the campsite, so we weren't using as much electricity, but also we were going really slow in the last part of the freeway. So this was actually like way better than I thought it was going to be at 1.4 miles per kilowatt hour average. But my vehicle is rated, I don't know if you can see, I think mine is rated at a full charge at 285 miles with the off-road package and stuff. But I have a 135 kilowatt hour battery pack. I would assume about 130 plus of that is usable, and so at 1 mile per kilowatt hour, that means I have a range of about 130. The vehicle was actually in tow mode, was actually estimating 145 miles of range. So I don't think I'm too far off. So just keep that in mind, and it is what it is. But again, camping, charging at the site, if you're at a site for like 2 or 3 days, you can get quite a bit of charge even out of these things. Just a final note on charging. We got here with about 71% of battery yesterday, and then I tried to charge last evening, and for some reason it, I don't know, shorted out or something at about 12:30, even though I had the amps reduced. So I got it going back again today, and yeah, it's going slow, but it's saying that I have left about 8 more hours, a little under, and that's to go to 100%. So we're gonna be here for another 2 days, so that's pretty good. I wouldn't want to be doing this in the winter. That would use a ton. I wonder how much energy that would take to tow in the winter. Like, that's got to be under 1 mile per kilowatt hour. So yeah, anyway, now those are all some nitty-gritty things. I think what I really want to emphasize in this video, and is more subjective and difficult to explain, is just the dynamics of towing with the R1T feels different than it did towing with the Model X. With the Model X, I could definitely feel that the trailer package that I was pulling was close to the limit. I mean, you could accelerate fine. The Model X is like, I have a 100D. It's extremely powerful. You know, if I push the accelerator, it goes, no problem. It did feel a little bit more clunky, or like it would kind of, it was, I guess if I put it in chill mode, it would have been a little bit better, but maybe too weak. I'm not sure. I'm saying that because I noticed that when I towed with the Rivian this time, and this is my first time, I've towed this a couple times with the Model X, but the Rivian just felt like the power curves were really dialed in and super natural feeling. And so when I would hit the accelerator, it felt like a very smooth acceleration. It wasn't too weak, it wasn't too jerky, it wasn't too powerful. It was just like, we're going forward now. And same with the stiff regen. It's so nice to have a stiffer setting of regen for when you have just large loads behind you. They're going to have extra inertia. It definitely takes longer to slow down, but it's still very smooth. And I guess that's what I was noticing on my first time switching to the Rivian, is like, wow, it still feels like a truck, and the drive just naturally is different because it's a truck. But it just, I don't know, it felt like the truck belonged in this towing situation, whereas the Model X could do it and do it well, but it wasn't like the intended use. Whereas this just felt like, oh yeah, we got a trailer, let's do this. So that's hard to explain in a video, but that's kind of what I wanted to go over. So there you have it. I hope that was at least interesting, if not helpful. But there's my first experience towing with the Rivian R1t, Memorial Day. This is 2023, so a really good experience. I really like it. I need to get better at backing up, though. I'm getting better, but it's not intuitive to me like some people. But all right, we'll see you guys in the next video.